This is Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, the viewer's guide to genre television for the weeks of November 16th to December 13th, 2024. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Brent Barrett.
I'm Kevin Batchelder.
And that makes me Wendy Hembrock.
And we've been gone for a few weeks, so we got a lot to catch up on. First of all, I want to let you know of some things that are coming to our Discord. It's the end of the year, so it's going to be Hall of Fame time. We have this genre TV Hall of Fame that we do every year. Check the website, check the Discord, all the normal sources to see how you can submit your inductee, who you think should be in the Hall of Fame. There is a Hall of Fame section on our website at tuningintoscifitv.com where you can see all of the previous inductees so you don't repeat a nomination. And we are going to announce sometime early next year the 4 new inductees. That's one from each of us and one from all of you. Whoever gets the most votes or whatever gets the most votes will be inducted as well. So look forward to that on our Discord.
Fun times every year.
Yep, I always look forward to it and getting excited about making my list. Got some time off to think about it.
Yeah, it's a great thing to do over the holidays.
Yeah, I got smart a couple of years ago and just created a document that I can go back to each year to see who kind of made my top, the year before to see if they should roll forward, and a couple on there with the years they qualify. So I'm getting good at this. It's like we've done it before. Is Kurt going to nominate Robotech again, or did it get in? I don't remember. I think, doesn't he get like a ceremonial automatic one every year now?
A nomination, yeah, for sure. Okay, also on our Discord, we're going to be starting a series of best genre shows of 2024. I used to do this a while back, and I haven't done it for the last couple of years, but it'll be a series of polls on our Discord where we're going to ask you, we're going to list all the genre shows that were on last year, or at least the majority of the genre shows. Let's put it that way. We can't possibly get every single one because there's some obscure ones that we've never seen or heard of, and let you guys vote on them. And at the end, I'll post all the results and give you the top 10 ranking or the full ranking, whatever you want. And we'll discuss it on the show after that poll is over. So look forward to that coming up on the Discord as well. And speaking of the Discord, you can get that. The link is in the show notes. It's free. It's available on all platforms. So sign up.
Yeah, I appreciate the time you put into creating the list and then the brackets and everything that goes on.
Yeah, those head-to-head matchups are fun. Sometimes it's, robbing Peter
fun,
to
you
pay
mean
Paul.
Sophie's Choice.
Yes, I do. And you got to come every day because you don't get to vote for very long.
Yeah, I'm toying with changing the format a little bit, though, Wendy. I'm toying with
please. Yeah,
maybe having multiple shows and just have like a series of brackets, but with larger numbers in each bracket, and maybe leaving it up for a week or a few days at least.
I like this idea.
If you do that, though, are we still going to be limited to a single vote in each of those little mini brackets?
No, it's going to be one of those. If you vote too many times, you dilute your vote.
Dilute the vote. But all right. Well, I don't want to. There's 5 of them there. I don't want to have 5 votes. But the more you add, the harder it'll be to pick only one.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, speaking of polls, we did close a poll that we asked you guys. What did you think of Arcane Season 2 now that it's over? I know that there's 5 votes and I loved it. That would be me and Kevin and probably Wendy. Or she might have done like it. I don't know. But there are 2 votes in like it. And we have 5 people saying they haven't seen it, but they plan to. And surprisingly and shockingly, and I'm sure Kevin is really getting on his nerves, there's 6 people who said they haven't seen it and they don't want to see it.
Yeah, I was, shall we say, disappointed by the number of people who said that. But as we say over and over, not every show is for everyone, but I do appreciate that there were multiple people in the Discord and some on social media who mentioned that they either did check out the show because of how much the 3 of us talked it up, or they do plan to when they reactivate their Netflix subscription or something. So that makes me happy.
Yeah, and maybe some people just don't watch animated shows, Kevin.
That is just shocking.
But he can convince them. He can give a testimonial.
Yeah, if there's ever a poster child for that one, hello.
Yeah. Well, there can be overselling. Sometimes people hear about something too much and they're like, it can't possibly be as good as they say.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It is. Good.
I had a couple of people tell me that specifically. They're like, dude, we love you, but stop talking about Arcane.
People tell me that all the time about the warning. Yeah, I don't know why.
See?
Anyway.
Yeah, you know, the pain is real.
All right. Well, that's it for the intro. Let's head on over to the spoiler-free water cooler.
Come in, relax at the Sci-Fi Diner Spa. Let the cares of the Galactic Empire drift away under the hands of one of our certified massage therapists. Has our favorite Gungan senator been annoying you?
Mr. Kojata Binks, Mr. Your humble servant.
Let the fingers of one of our Twi'lek slave girls rub your frustration many parsecs away. Or perhaps you just found out that your father is a Sith Lord.
I am your father.
Our Wookiee massage therapists specialize in deep tissue massage. Send a holonet transmission to the Sci-Fi Diner Spa to make your appointment. The Sci-Fi Diner bears no responsibility should one of our Wookiees decide to go on a rampage and strew your guts from one end of the galaxy to the other due to frustration pent up against Palpatine and what happened on Kashyyyk.
First up on the water cooler, we're going to review shows that were on for the last several weeks. This is covering November 16th to December 13th of 2024. And first up, I just wanted to mention that Arcane Season 2 did finish during that time period, but we did special podcasts about Arcane where we gave ratings and we talked in depth about the shows. Go check those out. They're on our feed or on our website or wherever you could get our podcast.
Yeah, so suffice to say we all loved it.
Yes, we did. And you can see us if you go to Brent's YouTube channel. You can watch our video of us talking besides hearing us.
Yeah, and Brent doing all his cool editing stuff with images and other stuff there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool. That guy's great. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was an easy edit. Don't even think I did a lot of work on that. I didn't. All right. Now for some shows that we haven't rated yet. Superman and Lois, I believe, came to an end. Episode 10 might have been the season finale or series finale. Wendy, you can correct me on that. But we have episode 8, Sharp Dressed Man, episode 9, To Live and Die Again, and episode 10, It Went By So Fast. And I am not watching this show right now.
Neither was I.
I did watch this. Episode 10 was the season finale. I'm going to rank them all together because I kind of watched them all together and give them a watch it soon.
Okay, that works. We also had Star Trek Lower Decks. We had 4 episodes of that. Episode 6 of Season 5 of Gods and Angles. Episode 7 of Season 5, Fully Dilated. And Episode 8 of Season 5, Upper Decks. And finally, Episode 9 of Season 5, Fissure Quest. And this was just a lot of fun, a hoot, as usual. I would give the first 3 a high watch it soon, but the last one, especially for a particular Vulcan that appeared in that one, I'm going to give it a watch it now.
Not one I watch.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm going to give the first 3 very high watch it soon, maybe low watch it now, and the most recent one, which is a 2-parter, high watch it now.
Ooh, even higher than me. Cool. All right, and also Disney's back with some Star Wars content. Skeleton Crew. This is the one that we talked about, the trailers. It's has kids in it, but we've been fooled before by shows that have kids in them that you think are geared towards kids, but don't really. They're more of a general audience sort of show. This one may be working out that way. I don't know, but we had 3 episodes. Episode 1, this could be a real adventure. Episode 2, way out past the barrier, and episode 3, very interesting as an astrogation problem. I would give Skeleton Crew, I give the first episode a watch it soon. It was a little slow, but it's still kind of cute. And then the last 2, I'd go high watch it soon.
Yeah, I've been waiting to hear on this one. I haven't seen these yet.
Yeah, I'm similar to you, Brent. The first one I would give maybe even a low watch it soon. The second one, a solid watch it soon. And the most recent one, a very high watch it soon.
Excellent. All right. We also have 2 episodes of the comedy Ghosts that we enjoy around here. Episode 6 was of season 4 was The Primary Source. Episode 7 of season 4 was Sad Farnsby. I'd give them both a watch it soon.
Yeah, I enjoyed and laughed at both, so I'll give them watch it soon.
Yeah, I like these both as well. I'll give them watch them soon.
Yeah, it's enjoyable entertainment. What else can you say? All right, and we have a show that I'm not watching called Silo. We have episode 2 of season 2, Order, episode 3 of season 2, Silo, spelled differently, and episode 4 of season 2 of The Harmonium, episode 5 of season 2, Descent. And like I said, I'm not watching.
Neither am I. Waiting to hear Wendy's thoughts.
Yeah, this show is on Apple TV Plus, and season 2 is really good. I would give the first 3 all high watch it soons, and the most recent one probably tip over into a low watch it now. The plot is really unfolding, and we're learning a lot. Great characters. Really enjoying it.
Oh, cool. This is one of the ones I've put on my list of if it ever goes somewhere else where I can see it. I want to check it out.
Yep, same thing. Kind of creating a short list for whenever I do get Apple TV Plus active again.
Yeah, this season, I mean, maybe it's just because we know the characters and stuff, but it seems to be going faster through the plot.
Good. I enjoy that. All right, and another show that has premiered is Dune Prophecy. Episode 1 of Season 1, The Hidden Hand. Episode 2 of Season 1, Two Wolves. Episode 3 of Season 1, Sisterhood Above All. And Episode 4 of Season 1, Twice Born. And I have not yet checked this out. I'm waiting to hear from Wendy.
Haven't watched either.
Yeah, so this is on Max, and neither one of you will want to watch this show. It's very political. It's very slow. A lot of characters talking and plotting. They did something I don't like, which is they tried to introduce a mystery by telling things, out of the order chronologically. They paid that off in the 3rd episode, which that episode I would actually give a very high watch it soon, as well as the most recent one. It might get more active plot, but it's still a lot of talking as the main action that's going on.
Good to know. Thank you for warning me. I don't think I'm going to go watch it.
Yeah, that's the sense I had, and I appreciate you confirming it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about it a little bit more in the back porch, but I'm enjoying it, but I'm okay with the structure of the show.
And I'm sure some people will be okay with it as well, so it's good that you're going to talk about it. Look forward to that. All right, we've got a voicemail we want to share with you from Jesse Jackson in Dallas, Texas. He's going to talk about Kevin's Trigger Tuner Minute.
Yes, I do keep a list. It's on my phone under Notes. And when I see something that I think I'm going to watch, I add it. And that list continues to keep growing and growing and growing. What triggers is if my DVR looks pretty empty, I will go and say, okay, what do I want to watch? And the other thing that triggers is, candidly, you guys. If you will be talking about on the podcast something that is really well done, I will say, okay, well, I've got some free time. Let me at least stick my toe in the waters and see if I'm going to like the series. And that's been Wolf Like Me and other things that I'm drawing a blank on right now. And so I really appreciate it. I'll see ads that'll trigger me, you guys recommending it, or just I will look at my list and say, wow, this has been on here for a while. Why don't I just go ahead and move that top of the list and try to see if I'm going to like this or not? Hope you're doing well, and have a great holiday season.
Oh, thanks very much, Jesse. Always appreciate it when you call in and share some thoughts on things. Got a nice smile knowing that you have an actual list, and you're keeping it on your phone. Hope it's backed up, just in case. But interesting, and I'm glad that we can be in your inner circle. That might be the reason that triggers you to check something out. That's why it was fun bringing up this topic on the Tuner Minute to see how different people might finally give something a shot, and the idea of dipping your toe when the time is there. It's good you've got an idea. You've got a way that makes it work so things don't just sit there forever. So very cool. Thank you.
Hey, Jesse. Thanks for leaving us a message. It's always great to hear from you. I'm not surprised that you have a list, but I'm thrilled that our conversation might make it onto your list for you or get prioritized a little bit higher. And thanks for checking in with us, and happy holidays.
And another one of you list people. I can't relate. No, I do share the concept of, people that I know and respect. I've got gaming buddies, and if they're talking about a show that I'm not watching, I'll tune into it as well. Or if you guys on Discord talk about a show that I'm not watching currently and you're loving it, I'll definitely check in. So I definitely understand that aspect of it. But yeah, hope you have a great holiday season as well. Jesse, thanks for the voicemail. All right, and first up on the news and articles and things we think you might enjoy, Wendy has got the Harley Quinn trailer.
Yes, Harley Quinn is coming back, and this might be Kevin's next animated show that he's going to get excited about. This trailer's pretty meaty. It's about 2 minutes long. It sets up what's going to be happening, and Harley Quinn returns to Metropolis. That's exciting. We also pretty much checked in with all of the characters that I love from this show are coming back for more, so that's exciting. And we don't have long to wait. It comes back on January 6th.
Yeah, woohoo. I'll have to admit that I'm a bad boy, and there's still a few episodes from the previous season I haven't yet checked out. I will do that. But this was an exciting trailer. Fortunately, it didn't look like it spoiled much to me, other than they're saying Gotham's gone to seed, and it looks like it has, and so they're moving to another town, getting another job, going somewhere else. So it looks like it's going to be fun as usual.
Oh, and I misspoke. It's January 16th, not the 6th.
Yeah, I think I think you may be right, Wendy. This may be the next animated show, certainly. I enjoyed that first episode, and the time comes I get myself a Max subscription. This will definitely be my go-to on there.
Okay, well, I've got a link to Invincible, another superhero sort of story, Season 3, the official trailer. That's going to Amazon Prime, or it appears on Amazon Prime, starting in February 6th. This trailer, I think, does some really cool stuff with the title character, showing where he's kind of going. They're not giving too much of a spoiler, I don't think, for necessarily what's going to happen this season, other than he's going to have some serious evolution, both in his role, his powers, and even his look.
Very cool.
Yeah, this is a show I haven't really made time to watch, but it looks like fun, so I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a really fun show. And if you haven't seen any of it yet, and you watch the very first episode, by the end of it, your jaw will be on the floor. I'll put it that way. Anybody who's seen it knows what I'm talking about. All right, we have another teaser for a season 3 of a show. This is The Wheel of Time, and Kevin's got that.
I do. Very exciting show I greatly enjoyed. So it was great not only to get the official teaser, as they're calling this one, but also the announcement of the air date. So yeah, link in the show notes if you haven't seen it yet, folks, if you're a fan at all. It's a little over a minute long. And it's got, as many of the trailers will, several quick scenes for things we're going to see coming up in season 3. For those who are familiar with the books and the story, they're building towards something, pretty big that's supposed to be happening in this season between a couple of our leads, Moraine and Rand, without getting spoilery. So that looked pretty cool. Also got some new characters coming in, and we've got an air date of March the 13th is when it'll begin airing. This is one they do drop week by week, so it'll be playing out here in the spring. So already put a note down, as will surprise no one, to do a rewatch season 1 and 2 to be prepped.
Yeah, this trailer looked nice, and I am intrigued by the Moraine and Rand part of the story that they highlighted in this teaser. And similar to you, Kevin, I will be doing I won't say a full rewatch, but probably a refresh me on the end of last season rewatch at a minimum. And I've got plenty of time, but March isn't that far away.
Yeah, I had to click on this trailer because I'm always confused about whether this is the one I like or the one that's similar to it is the one I like. I don't remember, but I watched this one and this is the one I like. So I'm also, when I saw it, I'm like, yeah, these are the characters I was interested in. I'm really excited to see where this goes. And I'm also a bad boy here because I haven't finished all of season 2. So I'm going to be watching, not rewatching, season 2 in time for this one, Kevin.
Good plan. Good plan. There's a couple of really good YouTube channels that do some good deep dives, too, that I always appreciate watching.
As usual, always excellent. All right. Wendy's got some news about Severance Season 2.
Yep, another show coming to Apple Plus. Severance Season 2, we have a trailer, and it sets up where things are going. I watched one episode of Severance Season 1, so it didn't mean anything to me, but I enjoyed the trailer. It actually looked more interesting than what I was watching in the beginning. So it's on my list. I'm sure anybody who watched and enjoyed Season 1, it's high on your list to watch, and it's coming back fairly soon, January 7th.
Yeah, this is another one of those shows that I remember you saying, you weren't so impressed with it when it first aired. So it is not on my Apple TV list of things that I want to watch as soon as it's available somewhere else.
Yeah, this one is on that Apple list of mine, not as high as like Silo and a couple of others, but I do have some folks in social circles that do recommend it, so keeping an eye open.
Yeah, many people recommend the show. I probably just didn't give it enough of a chance, or I watched it on a day when I just was tired and didn't get interested or wasn't patient for any payoffs on plot.
Excellent. All right. Well, I've got a link to the Star Trek Section 31 official trailer. This is the one that was going to be a TV series, but got turned into a movie, basically, a TV movie. It's going to be on Paramount Plus on January 24th. And this is the one that's following Emperor Giorgio, who's now in our universe and has been being recruited or has been recruited by Section 31, which is this ultra secret Starfleet sort of organization. And as you can imagine in the trailer, there's a lot of the kind of stuff you'd see with spycraft and assassins and all that stuff, all the dark underbelly stuff that you might expect. If you want Star Trek but not be all shiny and clean and perfect, this looks like it's a series for you.
Yeah, very much been looking forward to this one. A little tinge of disappointment that it won't be a series, but, Michelle Yeoh's Academy Award winner, kind of busy, but it'd be great to have her back. And as you said, it looks like there's going to be lots of conflict and other stuff going. So this is definitely going to be one of the highlights for January.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this as well. It's been a long time since this character was introduced in Discovery and the spinoff was announced. And I'm definitely disappointed it's only going to be a movie, but I'm hopeful that we might get maybe more movies in the future. Star Trek Black Ops is kind of an interesting curveball for Star Trek, so I hope it finds its place in the whole franchise.
I want a series about the Time Bureau, the time agents, the ones who travel through time. I just want that. I'm a time travel nut. I want it.
So you want some more Loki?
TVA.
Essentially. Star Trek TVA.
Yeah. Okay. You want Star Trek Loki. Okay. Maybe Q. Tales with Q.
No, he's too powerful. I want humans doing it. Or,
right,
non-omnipotent beings doing it.
Okay.
All right. Well, another show that has been around as long as Star Trek, in fact, longer, is Doctor Who. And Kevin's got a link to the Christmas special trailer. We do.
And if you haven't seen it yet, folks, again, and you're a Doctor Who fan at all, definitely take a look. This trailer gave me a nice smile. I mean, I like many others, I know Brent and others, it's great to have it back on Christmas Day and being a Christmas special. And from the look of the trailer, very much going to be themed around the holidays and very much an adventure looking one. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to be getting this. It's been kind of a quiet month for me with some of the shows to be able to enjoy. So this was a big thumbs up for me.
Yep, I always look forward to the Doctor Who Christmas special. I remember seeing some of this trailer previously, so it didn't look quite as new to me as wasn't quite as big a surprise, but definitely looking forward to it. And that means I'll also be doing a little revisiting some prior Doctor Who Christmas specials that I especially love.
Oh, the one on the Titanic was amazing.
That was a good one. Yeah. So many good ones with Matt Smith and David Tennant.
True.
Yep. True. This is, I'm always looking forward to Doctor Who. So, I'll just put that on the board. I'm always looking forward to Doctor Who. I am a little disappointed, I have to be completely honest, that they seem to focus on this trailer a bit on the Doctor having introspection about how he's always like, losing friends and people are leaving him and stuff. I'm like, I don't really want that in the Christmas special. Don't take me down, man. Bring me up.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how much of that is cornerstone or if that's just a little too heavy in the trailer. But yeah, I noticed it, but I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that he has an adventure or meets some people that can kind of bring him out of himself.
Yeah. I mean, that's happened before. Doctor's been kind of in a funk, and then all of a sudden he's like David Tennant one's like, what? And we have an adventure. All right, Wendy, you got a link to something that I stumbled across on my YouTube suggestions, and I started looking at it. Anyway, you talk about it.
It's another show that's coming to Apple Plus called The Gorge, and it actually looks very interesting. It's basically something mysterious inside this gorge. There's two people posted on opposite sides of it, which one is Anya Taylor-Joy and the other is Miles Teller. And one of the rules of the gorge is you're not supposed to talk to the watcher on the other side, but they start doing that, and then you'll see in the trailer they do some other things they're not supposed to do with this gorge. And so it looks like it's got mystery genre, supposedly. It looks interesting. And because I have Apple Plus, I definitely will be checking this one out.
Looking at this, like I said, when I first started watching, I'm like, oh, this is just some sort of like assassin story or something. And then I'm like, it's not genre. And then I kept watching it because I'm interested in military-esque sort of dramas too. So I watched it. Like, wait a minute, no, this is genre. There's this like they're guarding two sides to a crack in the earth that's the entrance to hell, according to what the guy said. Which I'm like, oh, okay, Buffy-esque sort of stuff here. But yeah, like you said, I love the concept of it looks like they're two opposing forces. Maybe it's like two nations or something, and they're not supposed to talk to each other. And then they, like you said, they use written, binoculars and written text to talk to each other, so that I guess it can't be intercepted or their superiors can't tell that they're doing it. But then I got to mention it. It's in the trailer, so I'm not going to consider it a spoiler, but I think it's kind of a setup for the show. The guy gets sucked down into hell, and I love the scene where she, have developed this kind of friendship with him, and she just like throws on a backpack, grabs some gear, and jumps in after him. I just love that. And then we have the very tease at the end of an adventure they're going to have in hell, basically. So this is the kind of show that would get me to actually sign up for Apple TV Plus. So I'm like fighting the urge now.
Well, I don't want to burst any bubbles, but this isn't a show; it's a movie. So, it does look good. Sure. I will definitely watch it once I have my Apple TV Plus. But just so folks know, it's unfortunately not ongoing; just a single film.
Well, that's okay. Also, I think there's definitely some shipping going on because it's going to premiere on February 14th.
Aw. Yeah, I had the impression it was a movie all along, and then Wendy said it was a series. And I'm like, oh, did I misunderstand? But no.
Oh, sorry. I just assumed it was a series because everything on Apple is a series.
Well, if it gets a lot of views, maybe they'll make a sequel, and then it'll become a series of movies.
Series of movies would be fine too, yeah.
All right. Yeah, looking forward to that somehow, to see that one. I've got a link to something that Kevin shared, which I am surprised I didn't hear about, but I'm very excited about. It's called Secret Level. Secret Level is a anthology series. It's from the people who did Love and Robots. If you remember that from Netflix, they had two seasons of that. This is on Amazon Prime. There's 8 episodes available now, and it's a similar sort of style and concept, but it's geared towards video games and different video games, and as well as board games, or I guess I should say role-playing games. There's a Dungeons & Dragons one. But I checked out one for Unreal Tournament, which is like my favorite video game of maybe not all time, but definitely from fond memories. And I really enjoyed it. It was a really well done story. And I'm planning on watch the other 7 as well. So check out the trailer. If I don't even think you need to be in video games. If you're into cool genre, futuristic, maybe fantasy storytelling in a anthology format, it's going to be for you. But definitely there's an added bonus if you're a video game person to recognize the different titles that they're covering and see what they do with them. Like I said, the one episode I saw was amazing. Can't wait to see the others.
Yeah, I think I saw this actually, or came across it in some social media discussions around Arcane. There was some folks who were League of Legends gamers who mentioned this, and it caught my eye when I went to look at it. Like, that's our genre stuff, just with some game theme stuff. So it did look really visually really cool.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I haven't seen this quite yet.
All right. Well, speaking of Arcane, Kevin dropped the A word. He's got something about season 2.
Man, proud of myself. Did a little lead in there, huh? It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Or just blind squirrel can find a nut too. Yes, I do. We have a link in the show notes to a pretty cool, about a 10 or 11 minute video, quote, about the making Arcane. But really what this one is focused on, and why we definitely want to share this one, is that it gives us some insight into some of the folks who are doing the voice acting. Not just our leads, that many folks are familiar with, Ella Purnell and Haley Steinfeld, but almost all the other main cast. You got a couple of minutes at least seeing them here doing some voice acting, hearing them talk about the character, which, just brings even more depth to it. I mean, there are a ton of videos about Arcane in terms of behind the scenes and other things, but this one kind of definitely, even if you're just a casual fan, I think you'll appreciate seeing who the actor, voices are.
Yeah, this was fun, and very similar to some of the prior stuff we've seen. It was nice to actually see both the leads who play Vi and Jinx, bouncing off each other in their recording booths, and hearing the showrunners talk about working with them. So I just wish it was a little bit longer, but it was fun.
Yeah, for the days of DVD extras that would go 20, 30 minutes or whatever. But this is still a really great video. Definitely encourage anybody who's an Arcane fan to check it out. All right, Wendy, you've got some news about the show called From. Yes,
From on MGM Plus, which I had for a very brief period of time while I was watching Outpost 39 or whatever it was called. Good show, got canceled. But From has been on for several seasons, and it has been renewed for season 4. It's actually the highest rated show on MGM Plus. And it's going to have a 10-episode 4th season. It is filmed in Nova Scotia and will go back into production sometime in 2025. So, and the season itself will come out in 2026. And when I was at DragonCon, I talked to several people who highly recommended this series. So if you have MGM Plus, you're probably thrilled. You're going to get more of it.
Yeah, I remember us talking about this series or hearing about it a while back. It does sound interesting, but being on MGM Plus, I just don't have access to it. So I would look forward to you folks on Discord who are watching it to let us know.
Yeah, and it's funny and very appropriate, as we often talk with so many different shows. I mean, in years gone by, it would be like almost no genre shows would kind of get biased. But I mean, talking about it as a season 4 coming up. Like, what? And like Wendy said, now I'm paying closer attention. I am seeing more folks in the social circles talking about this one. So just so much more content.
All right. And I've got a final link here, or we got some other news after this, but a final link for me, for a new series coming to Amazon from the creators of The Expanse. So if you're an Expanse fan, you might be interested in this, or if you're just interested in the concept of the show. It's going to be called Captives War, and it's a series coming to Amazon, like I said. And apparently it's going to be based on a planned book trilogy. Apparently one of them has come out, I think, of Captives War, but it's by an author called James S.A. Corey, who apparently wrote the best-selling novel The Mercy of Gods, if you're familiar with that. It's set in a distant future where there's like galactic empires and alien civilizations, and apparently it's inspired by the biblical book of Daniel. And it's following a group of prisoners who rise from the ashes of catastrophe to destroy their conqueror society from within. It sounds like a couple of other things that have gone on recently. But anyway, it's an epic tale about the transformative power of individuality in a totalitarian world. But definitely genre. It sounds like it might be a little too boring. That's the word I'm looking for me. But that's just based on the description. I don't know. Once I see a trailer, I'll know for sure.
Yeah, see, I had the similar thoughts. Like we say, it's going to depend on what they bring to the screen, you know, in terms of the content to make it non-boring, to stick to your phrasing, you know, to at least have that. But conceptually, it does sound interesting, and got to give credit, in my mind, Amazon has done a pretty darn good job with almost all of their genre shows that they've created. I haven't stuck with all of them as much as I might have liked to, but they have been well made and enjoyable. So, yeah, I'm going to be interested in watching this kind of develop and see what we actually get on screen.
Well, I'm actually really surprised because these are the same people that did The Expanse. Naren Shankar is going to be the showrunner, the director, and the author is the author of the Expanse books. His pen name is James Corey, but his real name's Ty Frank. And so I'm hoping they learned some stuff from The Expanse because that had a huge audience that slowly eroded, and it got better and better after season 2, in my opinion, because there were so many characters and they had to handle a long period of time to cover in season 1 that once they kind of focused on some key storylines that then started to intersect, it really was a very interesting show for me. I know, Kevin, you watched part of The Expanse, but then you bailed out after a little bit. So I'm intrigued, got to see a trailer. Also, hopefully it's a story that I can't guess, you know, where it's going from week to week, but they definitely did that in The Expanse. That was not a plot that I could predict, and they had some really interesting characters. So, you know, hopefully they can do it again.
I have to be brutally honest, being from the creators and author of The Expanse is why I'm not looking forward to this until I see a trailer, because I did try to watch the first season of The Expanse, and it just bored me to tears, and I gave up on it. But I hear it got better, but I haven't gone back to watch it yet.
Yeah, well, I have to assume that they learned their lessons about what worked in the later seasons, because it did have, you know, sort of a solid numbers, but not nearly as good as the beginning. So hopefully they learned some things out of that to improve for the next round.
Yeah, and this is a show that as Wendy said, I did watch, I think more than Brent, but only like maybe the first couple seasons, and it just, you know, was moving too slow for me up to that point. But then again, there's a lot of folks who absolutely loved this show because it was the very well done, very serious look at science fiction and you know, and that. So again, hopefully from the little learning from the first show and having, you know, from pulling from a trilogy of books, you know, fingers crossed, we get something that really comes together well.
Yeah, I only saw the first couple of episodes, and this is, I'm somebody who loved 2001: A Space Odyssey. So hard science fiction and even slow-paced hard science fiction, I have no problem with. It's just, it was so much all about characters in the beginning of that show that it just bored me. So anyway, I'm looking forward to a trailer from this one, and I'll make my judgment about whether I'm going to check it out based on that. All right, we're going to wrap up now with some casting news that Kevin's got for us.
Yes, our little casting corner, as we do. A spoiler warning, as usual, if you don't like to know anything about folks coming on shows. We've got 2 of them to cover here. Got info on Ghosts and also The Wheel of Time. We can kind of go quite the range there. But as far as Ghosts goes, on the fun side, with several mentions over the season so far, we're going to get to see Alexander Hamilton come in very soon on the show. So it's going to be played by Nate Faxon, who, if you know who he was, or the show Loot. But there's a post or a link in the show notes to the post on TV Line. Also has a link to his Instagram where he posted about this, I believe, in character, or at least in costume. So that should be some fun coming there on Ghosts, on the fun side. On the much more serious side, we were talking a little bit about The Expanse. They also announced for this season on Wheel of Time that we're going to be getting, and I'm going to do my best here with pronunciation, Shohreh Aghdashloo, I believe I'm close on that one, is going to be coming in to play a very powerful Aes Sedai. Now, you remember her, she was big on The Expanse. She also had a role on Arcane. Very strong presence on screen. So the fact she's playing an Aes Sedai, I think bodes very well. So from the fandom of the Wheel of Time books, I saw just super excitement when her casting was announced for them knowing the character in the books. So that was exciting stuff.
Yes, both of these casting announcements were exciting for me. I definitely remember her from The Expanse. She was the president of the Earth or the galaxy or whatever, but she played a very interesting character, great actor. Will definitely fit right in with Wheel of Time. And the casting for Hamilton, I love this guy on Loot. He plays a very sincere, down-to-earth guy in this world of people who are all billionaires. And he's very funny. So I'm excited to see how he plays off of Isaac and what their take is on Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, cool. I'm glad to hear then that he's been cast for Ghost, which we really enjoy. The Wheel of Time casting, yeah, of course. Everybody loves her. Even if they don't know her name or have no way to pronounce it, you know her voice. And that's why I'm glad you mentioned Arcane. I was going to say, Kevin, she was in Arcane, but you remembered, of course. She's just all over the place. She's a great person, great actor.
Yeah, and like I said, the Wheel of Time book fans, they were just losing their, you know what, in a good way, in that like, oh, that's like perfect casting for what this character is in the book, and knowing how, like I said, she just commands presence on screen. Thinking about or hoping about some scenes between her and Rosamund Pike might be very cool.
All right, excellent. Okay, we gonna wrap up the water cooler. We're gonna wrap up the water cooler with a tuner minute, as usual. This one was recorded by Wendy, and it's entitled Wish List.
Looking ahead to the new year, I'm wondering about your genre TV plans. Do you have any goals for knocking off some shows from your backlog of watch list items? Are you planning to add or drop any streaming services? What resolutions do you have for how you will select what you watch in the new year? Or resolutions about how long you might stick with a show you don't love before dumping it? Are there things you plan to add more of to your watch list or less? Are there actors or creators you know or hope will roll out something new that you're highly anticipating? If you could write Santa and request some things for your genre TV in 2025, what would be on your wish list?
Okay, well, I've already given you one of them earlier, and I'm so excited to put this on my wish list for genre Santa. I want a TV series about Star Trek TVA. I want more anthology shows. I'm a sucker for anthology shows. I love them, anthology genre shows. I really like those because they're so different. You get different stuff every week, and I really like that. And you get people experimenting with things and trying new things. So I would love that on my wish list. But yeah, anything time travel, I'm always going to throw that on my wish list for genre Santa.
Yeah, for me, it's, after going very deep down the Arcane rabbit hole, needing some time here around the holidays on some personal things. But it's funny, I was starting to think about, okay, once we get to January, I don't have a ton of shows I plan to watch. Not that we have a ton of ones coming, but with the Wheel of Time announcement for the next season, non-genre, but also the announcement for Reacher coming in February, I've been planning some rewatch stuff for the most part. And that's what I need to look at now is I don't see a ton on the horizon. Looking forward to the upcoming Sci-Fi Channel series Revival with Melanie Scrofano in the lead there. I know they just wrapped shooting, so I have no idea when that might be. But that's, along with Daredevil when it's coming in March, I think it is. So I'm going to have a little bit of a period there where I think I do. This might be time actually for me to seriously look at the Apple TV Plus or getting one of those promos or something, because we've been talking about so many of them that I have an interest in trying that it might be worth, focusing on that. Meaning that I know it's on a service I haven't watched other things on and there's nothing kind of happening there. So I might tie the two together there. That might be something I'm looking to do.
And if nothing else, you can rewatch Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Which I love.
And yeah, I miss Ted.
I watched the Christmas episode. That's one of my rewatches I do, as well as the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas show. Brent, I completely second your more anthology format genre shows. And it seems like as streamers are trying to find content, it's just a great way to try out a lot of different things, throw them at the wall and see what sticks too. So, hopefully we're going to put that one out in the universe and maybe get some more back of it as well. I don't have anything specific on my list other than I am going to set a budget for my monthly channels so that I can manage those, force myself to manage the channels that I'm probably not getting the best value out of. So that is on my list to do. But, Santa, if you could get Michael Fassbender to make a genre movie, I would really appreciate it too.
Other than X-Men?
I mean, yeah, new one. Something new.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let us know what you think about this. If you have anything on your wish list, you can use Discord or the more traditional feedback methods like voicemail, like what Jesse used, or anything of that nature. So give us a shout and let us know. With that said, we're going to move over to the spoiler-filled back porch. Today we talk about Skeleton Crew, Dune Prophecy, Star Trek Lower Decks, and Silo. First up on the back porch, I'm going to talk a little bit about Skeleton Crew. We've got 3 episodes of this new Star Wars live-action show out on Disney+. I know Kevin was waiting to hear about it, so he doesn't have much to say about this, but I am going to go into a little bit of spoilers because I do want to talk about some of the things that I found were very interesting, but mostly I'm going to hit generalities. Again, the show, all the trailers showed that it's about kids. It's following kids on a ship. And, of course, the first episode took a while to get there, but it helped us to explain how these kids got on the ship and also a little bit about their culture on their planet. And we come to learn, like in the 3rd episode, that their planet has been hidden. It's got a shield, some sort of a masking barrier that nobody can see through, scan through. Nobody knows it's there. But it was originally intentionally put there, and the people were put there, as some sort of a treasure from the old Republic, and it was lost. So it's like a lost treasure. Now that we're in the time here in this series of like the Mandalorian. It's post Return of the Jedi, the fall of the Empire and all that. It's the New Republic is in place right now, and the New Republic has no idea this place was here. The Empire apparently had no idea. I think the old Republic lost track of it before the Empire took power. So nobody knows it's there. It's just got this whole society of people on this planet who go about their jobs, but they don't really know what it is, what their job is, what their purpose of their planet is, really. But these kids find an old crashed ship, get on it, and accidentally go back through the barrier out into space and start some adventures. And we run into, we're introduced in the beginning to a bunch of pirates that are led by Jude Law, the actor. He's playing a pirate character, and he gets taken over. Basically, he's kicked out. There's a mutiny. His pirate ship and crew is taken from him, and he's thrown in prison. And our kids, our 4 heroes, manage to run into him and also start believing he's a Jedi because he can do some tricks. Which at one point in episode 3, they say, you said you're a Jedi, and he said, I never said that. They were trying to think he was, and he was playing along. He wasn't saying he was a Jedi. In fact, if you look at a lot of things he said, he carefully says things in a way that doesn't mean that isn't him admitting or saying he is one or claiming he is one. Because there's this one point where one of the kids is saying the Jedi say this or the Jedi do this, and he said that is not a thing that the Jedi say. He's not saying it's not a thing we say. He's saying it's not a thing the Jedi say. So he's being very careful, which leads me to believe that he might actually be deep down, a pretty decent guy, even though he was the leader of a bunch of pirates before. So we don't really know what's going to happen other than the end of this episode 3. They're heading supposedly back to their home. They managed to run into an old friend of the pirates, who's basically an owl, a sci-fi owl. who is a big astro navigator, and she's able to, and historian apparently. She likes cool things, and she finds references to their planet, and apparently we think she may have found the coordinates. We're not sure. I suspect that this jump in hyperspace is not going to land them at their home. I'm just a guess. But it also looks like the New Republic is potentially after them as well. Well, mostly because he's a wanted pirate, I guess. But yeah, it looks like it's a pretty fun adventure. I'm not thinking it's a kids show. This is Star Wars. This is live action Star Wars, just with characters we've never run into before. Although we did see a cameo essentially by one pirate who I believe is supposed to be the same pirate that we saw on The Mandalorian season 3, who basically abandoned his pirate ship and flew off. I don't know if this is after that or before that, but it looks like it's the same character. So there's a little bit of connection to the Mandalorian universe there. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think it's just getting better and better. Like I said, and I think Wendy agreed, the first episode was a little slow, but it's pretty kicking along. But one thing that I've noticed that myself when I watch it, and all reactors have been watching it, is that when each episode ends, you're like, that's it? What? Because they're very short. They're like, I don't know, 30 minutes long tops. I don't know what they are exactly, but they move along. The second and third episode move along so fast that you by the time the ending comes, you're shocked and you're surprised, and you want more. And Kevin knows what that feels like. That's a lot like with warning songs, because they're pretty short, and when they end, you're like, what? That's it? I want more. Play it again, Kevin.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this was one for the reasons we talked about, that it might not have looked too youth focused, that I wanted to wait to hear from people talk about. And it's funny, literally this afternoon, not long before we recorded, I was talking to my son-in-law, who's also a genre fan, and we talk about our shows sometimes. And he asked me if I'd seen this one yet. And I said my exact concern. He says, no, it looked like that, but it's actually not. But he said, the only problem is these things are over way too fast. So very similar there. So maybe this sounds like one I definitely, without a lot of other shows right now for me, is worth jumping into.
You can catch up fast too.
Yeah, Kevin, this is definitely worth jumping into. The first episode for me was very kiddish. I'm glad, however, that it sort of shifted into what I would call Goonie level of kiddishness fairly quickly. I love the whole pirate take on it. Even the droid, is a broke down pirate. He kind of walks like he has a peg leg. He's missing one eye. He's voiced by Nick Frost. He's very funny. From the Shaun of the Dead universe. And I really like this whole mystery about their planet. And when one of the kids, Wim, pulls out his, quote, lunch money, and the bartender he's going to pay is like, oh, no. It's more than that. And, he's trying to milk him once he realizes this kid has, real gold, kind of equivalent to somebody walked in and handed you a gold doubloon. Jude Law is great at being really smarmy. Hopefully he's going to turn out to be more like Dread Pirate Robert than, some other truly bad pirates. I loved that owl navigator character. That was really fun. It was also kind of blowing my mind to see an owl typing on a computer. And they are only 30 minutes, which I didn't realize in the beginning, because usually these shows are a little bit longer than that. And when the second episode was over, I was like, that went by really fast. And then I saw the running time. So, it's a fun ride, and I would recommend it so far for sure.
Yeah, that droid is hilarious. I love in the third episode where Jude Law's character asks him, where these kids are from, and he's like, I'll tell you this. And he starts poking him. I'll tell you only once. They're from somewhere. Aye. And then he walks away, and then he turns around and comes back and leans in, and Jude Law looks at him, he says, aye. And then turns around and walks away. It's a funny droid.
He is, and I love how sometimes he's all kind of hunched over and broken down, but then other times he'll really stand up, and he's like 7 feet tall and quite intimidating.
All right. Hopefully we can get Kevin to watch that, and he can catch up with us on next week's or next episodes, I should say. We don't know if it's going to be next week. Next episode's discussion of that show. Moving on, though, Wendy is going to talk about Dune Prophecy.
Yeah, so I talked about this a little bit in the water cooler when I rated it, and this show, I find it very interesting. It's the backstory about the Bene Gesserit, the women's religious cult who are the truth sayers. All the great houses want to get one. This is set, thousands of years prior to the Dune story that we know with Paul Atreides. There are Harkonnens and Atreides in this time period, however, and the Reverend Mother is actually a Harkonnen, and actually she and her sister are both involved in establishing, the Bene Gesserit's larger mission, and they think that they are trying to prevent some horrible thing from happening. They have gift of prophecy, but prophecy is often misinterpreted. And when it starts with the original Reverend Mother passing away and how she hands down power to the next one. So there's a lot of political intrigue in this show, but because of the nature of who the Bene Gesserit are, their relationship to the Emperor and other houses. But the thing that I find very interesting about it is the various, I'll call them acolytes, the nuns, because they have different powers, depending on, where they're from and why they're there. And it's very similar to any time where you have, young children sent off to, they could go to Jedi school, they could go to military school, they could go to, become a priest or a nun, where they have an interesting backstory of why they landed in a strange world and motivations for what they're doing. So, like I said, there's a lot of, political intrigue, scheming going on. There's also a very interesting character who supposedly was swallowed by a sandworm and has these powers that are very similar to what the Bene Gesserit have in terms of being able to persuade other people to even harm themselves. And so there's an interesting power dynamic going on with this person who also seems to be immune to the persuasion of many of the Bene Gesserit. So that's kind of, we're still sort of in the setup phase of the story though, and we're like 4 episodes in, which is why I don't think Kevin or Brent would be interested in this show, because ultimately I'm not even really sure where it's going other than people getting murdered in order to get, married to somebody or put into a political position, to line up these great houses in their future. The 2 women who are the sisters, who are really some of the focal characters in the story, played by 2 great actors, and in the 3rd episode, they kind of gave the backstory of these 2 characters, which was very interesting. So I'm definitely watching it for the characters much more than any other reason, and if one of them is, quote, dead, but not really dead, and the way that they're not really dead is also by using intelligent machines, which are banned. So that's another element of the story that I'm sure will get played out more and more as we go along. But I know there's some folks on our Discord who are watching it and enjoying it, which is why I wanted to mention it. And it definitely got better after episode 3 for me in terms of really caring about the characters and not just all the chess setup that had been happening up to that point.
Very cool. Thank you for that summary. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't think it's going to be something for me. All right, I'm going to move on now and talk about Star Trek Lower Decks. We had like 4 episodes, and they continue to be crazy. And some highlights from the episodes that pop out to my mind are One is I love the episode where they talk about the upper decks, where they kind of focus a little bit more on the command crew because they never do. And the doctor is the one I love the most, where she's got this assistant who's another officer and another doctor who's trying to convince her that the crew's right when they say that she doesn't treat their pain very well, and she's like, because her species apparently doesn't really feel pain, and so she wants to understand the crew more. So she has the other doctor start trying to inflict a lot of pain on her. And I love the bit where she breaks out as the aliens are trying to take the ship, and then they shoot her, and the alien says, "That was set to kill." And she's like, she said something really funny. I can't remember what it was, really snarky and funny, and then starts clawing him to death. Oh yeah, my claws are set to kill too, or something. And starts ripping them apart. Just a great episode. But the final episode was the one I loved the most because it's got a multi-universe aspect to it. There's a crew headed by the duplicate Boimler, and a bunch of other people, including, and this is why I gave it a watch it now for me, it's T'Pol from the Enterprise universe. She's from an alternate universe where she married Trip and had lived with him for over 60 years before, obviously he's a human, he passed away. And that just made me smile, considering how disappointed I was at the ending of Enterprise and how much of a big shipper I was between Trip and T'Pol. So I love that bit, and we got a whole crew full of Harry Kims, and apparently he's the most common person to be, sent or abandoned or whatever in an alternate universe. So they had a whole crew full of them. I thought that was hilarious. And the one Harry Kim who'd been promoted, of course, turned out to be the bad guy. But it is, like you said, a first part of a two-parter, so we don't really know how it's going to turn out. But the crew just that they've assembled just is impressive. Curzon Dax, back carrying Dax still, an old man, long before he's passed. He hasn't passed yet. Always risking his life, and everybody's reminding him that there are no other Trills on the ship, and he better not die because Dax will die. And it just so much fun, Wendy. I don't know if you enjoyed it. I know you did. You gave it a high rating, but what do you think?
Yeah, so first, Upper Decks, the doctor thing was hilarious when it's basically getting tortured in order to feel any sort of pain and then attacks the alien. That was totally a highlight of that particular episode. And then Fisher Quest was just awesome. I loved the duplicate Boimler, and then when what's her name? Mariner, thank you. When this Mariner shows up, and she's an engineer, and she's the one coming up with all the problems. That was a cool turn, and actually she was the one who figured out what was happening with these fissures. I loved that the people that actually turned out to be creating it go all the way back to the original people that were studying warp drive, and it was Lily and those folks. And the Harry Kims was hilarious because Boimler was like, another one. And then it was so funny how they were all like, how'd you get 2 pips? And, they're all freaking out. And, the 2 pip Harry Kim is so disdainful of the other ones, and, turns out to be a bad guy, which is so shocking because that was not Harry Kim at all. I loved Bashir and the Kardashian doctor dynamic. They were hilarious, fighting about which universe they were going to end up living in. You mentioned the Dax before Jedzia on Deep Space Nine, and they had a great back and forth with T'Pol, who you mentioned, and even it was so cute because when Mariner arrives, the first thing she says is that T'Pol? It was so fun. So yeah, I liked everything about it. And then also, Boimler's exhausted from doing all this stuff. I loved when Lily was saying, but that's the thing that you keep learning is how creative and different anything can be, even with the quote, same people. So I really liked it, and it's got another part to come. So yeah, Lower Decks has just been doing a great job.
And I'm, as was mentioned on Discord after this episode aired, I am so going to miss this show when it's over. Please do something with these characters or with this show. Give us some movies or something.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it came back again in a couple of years.
I hope so. They can do some live action. We know that.
Yep.
All right. Now, Wendy's going to wrap it up with a discussion of the show Silo.
Yeah, so season 2 of Silo's back, and I know we have people that are watching it and enjoying it, and I'm loving it. So, Juliet is in another silo. Her whole journey to, get through it was really wonderful, and then finding the character played by Steve Zahn, who is called Solo, was really interesting. It was cool to see how they're problem-solving things to try to create another suit for her to go back. They had to create a suit that she could go underwater in because part of the silo is underwater and the water's rising. Plus, we have back in the original silo this whole dynamic between the upper half and the lower half, and the mystery of Juliet, because everyone saw her walk out, not clean the window, and seemingly walk over a hill alive. And so now everybody wants to know what's outside. And we actually have characters that want to go outside. We have different factions with different motivations for why they want to do that, including a judge character that's very interesting that I don't remember from season 1. So maybe folks can remind me about that. But we're also learning a lot more about the creation of the silo itself. The second silo that Juliet finds has slightly different stories, and one of them is Romeo and Juliet. And the Romeo and Juliet in silo number 2 is the one we're familiar with, where they both die. And and Juliet's sort of like, what are you talking about? That's not how Romeo and Juliet ends. It's really fascinating the way that they incorporate these banned artifacts, these relics that are not to be known about, but people have illegally in some cases, and how they're incorporated into the story. Because a lot of it very much ties back to a kind of old school crime dramas where, you have physical evidence, and there's so much physical evidence that's been destroyed, suppressed as part of quote, keeping the silo running, keeping order. And now it's really starting to fall apart. Part of the reason I like this show, it reminds me a lot of Snowpiercer, because there's a class dynamic going on, but there's also very specific interpersonal relationships between the people who are supposedly in opposition with each other. But the fun part about this season is we're seeing things actually unfolding, because the end of season 1, Juliet going outside and actually living sort of was the first domino that is setting all this stuff in motion. So I've really been enjoying season 2.
Very cool. Like I mentioned, The Gorge has gotten me very excited for Apple TV. I might even go with one of those trial plans and watch a little bit of the show too, because the way you're describing it, it sounds interesting. It sounds fun. So cool. It
did take a while for me to get into season 1, because it focused a lot on the whole idea of how the society's organized, and going out, and the people who go out, and what happened, really as a way to control people. So it's definitely worth getting, though, through the slow start to get to the end of season 1.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah, does sound like it's worth a shot.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode, folks. I want to give you a little bit of a heads up that we are not going to be recording during the holiday season, as you might expect. We have time with family and all of that. So we will see you next sometime in early January. Look forward to our discussion of the Hall of Fame. So definitely check out our Discord and our website to figure out how to submit your nominees to the Genre TV Hall of Fame. And be sure to just stop by Discord and vote in the best genre shows of 2024. That poll may not actually start appearing until January, once we have all of the shows have a chance to actually air. So anyway, I want to thank Kevin and Wendy for being here, and all of you folks for listening and chiming in on Discord and following along and giving us feedback. We really enjoy it. Catch you next time.
Have a great holiday season, folks. We'll catch you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
If you'd like to contact us here at Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, we offer a wide variety of feedback options, including email at feedback@tuningintoscifitv.com, our voicemail at 706-927-8478, on Skype voicemail at Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, or you can visit our website at tuningintoscifitv.com to find the link to our forums or to use the SpeakPipe widget to leave us a voice message. You can also find us on Twitter at twitter.com/tuningintosci-fi or on Facebook at facebook.com/tuningintosci-fi TV.
The theme music for Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV is by Beatnik Turtle, used with permission. You've been listening to Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, episode 664, recorded December 14th, 2024.